Read the Bible in a year, day 82, Joshua 1, 2, 3, and 4. Joshua 1. Now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord spoke to Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' servant, saying, Moses my servant is dead. Now therefore arise, go across the Jordan, you and all these people, to the land which I am giving to them, even to the children of Israel. I have given you every place that the sole of your foot will tread on, as I told Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even to the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and to the great sea toward the going down of the sun shall be your border. No man will be able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not fail you nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, for you shall cause this people to inherit the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous. Be careful to observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Don't turn from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may have good success wherever you go. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written in it. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. Haven't I commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Don't be afraid. Don't be dismayed. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Then Joshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, Pass through the middle of the camp and command the people, saying, Prepare food, for within 3 days you are to pass over this Jordan, to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God gives you to possess. Joshua spoke to the Reubenites and to the Gadites and to the half-tribe of Manasseh, saying, Remember the word which Moses the servant of the Lord commanded you, saying, The Lord your God gives you rest, and will give you this land. Your wives, your little ones, and your livestock shall live in the land which Moses gave you beyond the Jordan, but you shall pass over before your brothers armed, all the mighty men of valor, and shall help them, until the Lord has given your brothers rest, as he has given you, and they have also possessed the land which the Lord your God gives them. Then you shall return to the land of your possession, and possess it, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you beyond the Jordan towards the sunrise. They answered Joshua, saying, All that you have commanded us, we will do. And wherever you send us, we will go. Just as we listened to Moses in all things, so will we listen to you. Only may the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses. Whoever rebels against your commandment and doesn't listen to your words in all that you command him shall himself be put to death. Only be strong and courageous.
Joshua chapter 2. Joshua, the son of Nun, secretly sent 2 men out of Shittim as spies, saying, Go view the land, including Jericho. They went and came into the house of a prostitute whose name was Rahab, and they slept there. The king of Jericho was told, Men of the children of Israel came in here tonight to spy out the land. Jericho's king sent to Rahab, saying, Bring out the men who have come to you, who have entered into your house, for they have come to spy out all the land. The woman took the men and hid them. Then she said, Yes, the men came to me, but I didn't know where they came from. About the time of the shutting of the gate, when it was dark, the men went out. Where the men went, I don't know. Pursue them quickly. You may catch up with them. But she had brought them up to the roof and hidden them under the stalks of flax, which she had laid in order on the roof. The men pursued them along the way to the fords of the Jordan River. As soon as those who pursued them had gone out, they shut the gate. Before they had laid down, she came up to them on the roof. She said to the men, I know that the Lord has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land melt away before you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea before you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the two kings of the Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon and to Og, whom you utterly destroyed. As soon as we had heard it, our hearts melted, and there wasn't any more spirit in any of our men, because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and on earth beneath. Now, therefore, please swear to me by the Lord, since I have dealt kindly with you, that you also will deal kindly with my father's house, and give me a true sign, and that you will save alive my father, my mother, my brothers, and my sisters, and all they have, and will deliver our lives from death. The men said to her, Our life for yours, if you don't talk about this business of ours. And it shall be, when the Lord gives us the land, that we will deal kindly and truly with you. Then she set them down by a cord through the window, for her house was on the side of the wall, and she lived on the wall. She said to them, Go to the mountain, let the pursuers find you. Hide yourselves there 3 days, until the pursuers have returned. Afterward, you may go your way. The men said to her, We will be guiltless of this your oath, which you have made us to swear. When we come into this land, tie this line of scarlet thread in the window which used to let us down. Gather to yourself into the house your father, your mother, your brothers, and all your father's household. It shall be that whoever goes out of the doors of your house into the street, his blood will be on his head, but we will be guiltless. Whoever is with you in this house, his blood shall be on our head, if any hand is on him. But if you talk about this business of ours, then we shall be guiltless of your oath, which you've made us to swear. She said, Let it be as you have said. She sent them away, and they departed. Then she tied the scarlet line in the window. They went and came into the mountain, and stayed there 3 days until the pursuers had returned. The pursuers sought them out all along the way, but didn't find them. Then the two men returned, descended from the mountain, crossed the river, and came to Joshua the son of Nun. They told him all that had happened to them, and they said to Joshua, Truly, the Lord has delivered all the land into our hands. All the inhabitants of the land melt away before us.
Joshua 3. Joshua got up early in the morning, and they moved from Shittim and came to the Jordan, he and all the children of Israel. They camped there before they crossed over. After 3 days, the officers went through the middle of the camp, and they commanded the people, saying, When you see the ark of the Lord your God's covenant, and the Levitical priests bearing it, then leave your place and follow it. Yet there shall be a space between you and it of about 2,000 cubits by measure. Don't come closer to it, that you may know the way by which you must go, for you have not passed this way before. Joshua said to the people, Sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you. Joshua spoke to the priests, saying, Take up the ark of the covenant and cross over before the people. They took up the ark of the covenant and went before the people. The Lord said to Joshua, Today I will begin to magnify you in the sight of all Israel, that they may know that as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. You shall command the priests who bear the ark of the covenant, saying, When you come to the brink of the waters of the Jordan, you shall stand still in the Jordan. Joshua said to the children of Israel, Come here and hear the words of the Lord your God. Joshua said, By this you shall know that the living God is among you, and that he will without fail drive the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Hivite, the Perizzite, the Girgashite, the Amorite, and the Jebusite out from before you. The ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth passes over before you into the Jordan. Now, take 12 men out of the tribes of Israel, for every tribe a man. It shall be that when the soles of the feet of the priests who bear the ark of God, the Lord of all the earth, rests in the water of the Jordan, that the waters of the Jordan will be cut off. The waters that come down from above shall stand in one heap. When the people moved from their tents to pass over the Jordan, the priests who bore the ark of the covenant being before the people, and when those who bore the ark had come to the Jordan, and the feet of the priests who bore the ark had dipped in the edge of the water, for the Jordan overflows all its banks all the time of harvest, the waters which came down from above stood, and rose up in one heap a great way off, at Adam, the city that is beside Zarethan. And those that went down towards the sea of the Arabah, even the salt sea, were wholly cut off. Then the people passed over near Jericho. The priests who bore the ark of the covenant, the Lord's covenant, stood firm on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan, and all Israel crossed over on dry ground until all the nation had passed completely over the Jordan.
Joshua chapter 4. When all the nation had completely crossed over the Jordan, the Lord spoke to Joshua, saying, "Take 12 men out of the people, a man out of every tribe, and command them, saying, Take from of the middle of the Jordan, out of the place where the priest's feet stood firm, 12 stones. Carry them over with you, and lay them down in the place where you'll camp tonight." Then Joshua called the 12 men whom he had prepared of the children of Israel, a man out of every tribe. Joshua said to them, "Cross before the ark of the Lord your God into the middle of the Jordan, and each of you pick up a stone and put it on your shoulder, according to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, that this may be a sign among you, that when your children ask in the future, saying, what do you mean by these stones? Then you shall tell them, because the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the Lord's covenant. When it crossed over the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. These stones shall be a memorial to the children of Israel forever." The children of Israel did as Joshua commanded. They took up 12 stones out of the middle of the Jordan, as the Lord spoke to Joshua, according to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel. They carried them over with them to the place where they camped, and laid them down there. Joshua set up 12 stones in the middle of the Jordan, in the place where the feet of the priests who bore the ark of the covenant stood, and they are there to this day. For the priest who bore the ark stood in the middle of the Jordan until everything was finished, that the Lord commanded Joshua to speak to the people, according to all that Moses commanded Joshua. And the people hurried and passed over. When all the people had completely crossed over, the Lord's ark crossed over, with the priests in the presence of the people. The children of Reuben and the children of Gad and the half-tribe of Manasseh crossed over armed before the children of Israel, as Moses spoke to them. About 40,000 men, ready and armed for war, passed over before the Lord to battle, to the plains of Jericho. On that day, the Lord magnified Joshua in the sight of all Israel, and they feared him as they feared Moses all the days of his life. The Lord spoke to Joshua, saying, "Command the priests who bear the ark of the covenant that they come out of the Jordan." Joshua therefore commanded the priests, saying, "Come up out of the Jordan." When the priests who bore the ark of the Lord's covenant had come up out of the middle of the Jordan, and the soles of the priests' feet had been lifted up to dry ground, the waters of the Jordan returned to their place and went over all its banks as before. The people came up of the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month and encamped at Gilgal on the east border of Jericho. Joshua set up those 12 stones, which they took out of the Jordan, in Gilgal. He spoke to the children of Israel, saying, "When your children ask their fathers in time to come, saying, 'What do these stones mean?' then you shall let your children know, saying, 'Israel came over this Jordan on dry land.' For the Lord your God dried up the waters of the Jordan from before you until they had crossed over, as the Lord your God did to the Red Sea, which he dried up from before us. until we had crossed over, that all the peoples of the earth may know that the Lord's mighty hand that all the people of the earth may know that the Lord's hand is mighty, and that you may fear the Lord your God forever.
So here we are. We finally have got to the time where the Israelites are preparing to pass over the Jordan, and they're going to go to the other side.
The promised land, finally here.
It's finally here. And I just couldn't help but think about the foreshadowing that this is, because as we know now, thousands of years later, that there's a lot of foreshadowing of passing through the water to the promised land. And in Christianity, you pass through the waters of baptism into the promised land, God's kingdom here on earth, and later on also in heaven. And how it's all related, and how God had a plan from the very beginning, not just for them, but for us as well, to know that this is all from Him. Yes. Everything is planned out for us to know that this is not just a book, a history book, but this is God's word.
Yeah, and God is reminding and commanding them, the Israelites and Joshua, to be strong and courageous. Not strong and courageous based on their skills or their talents or their abilities, but strong and courageous because He is with them. It's all about Him.
And I really like this because it reminds me of how it doesn't matter how much talent we have or how popular we are or how much money we have. It doesn't matter what our standing is in the society. The only thing that matters is our hearts. Every single person has the capacity to be strong and courageous.
Yes.
But for every single person, it's a decision to do that. And it's easy to do that when things are going well. But when you're about to do something, you're going to go into the unknown, when you're terrified, as they were, it's much more difficult. It takes a lot of faith and trust in God. It's a true measure of our hearts, is when we do the right thing when things are difficult.
Yeah. I think we get a glimpse of our frailty as humans too, because Joshua, in spite of God being with them and being strong and courageous, he sends over spies just to check it out. Just, hey, see what it looks like before you go. And, you know, you don't want to have the same callback to when they first spied out the land and everyone was afraid. But he sends spies over, but they get a different result.
Yeah, there was these spies that were sent over, and then there's a Canaanite woman who's not even an Israelite. She's not even a part of God's people, but she had heard about them.
Yes.
And she said, you know what? Truth is, we heard about what you guys did, and we know that you got something on your side. I mean, God is for you guys. So I am going to go on your side. I'm going to take my chances with you. I'm not going to take my chances, you know, with these people. She was friends with the king. The king came to talk to her. You know, she was, you know, a prostitute, and she was well known. She was somebody who knew how to talk to people, and she used that ability in order to deceive the king and all of his warriors into believing that the spies weren't there. And it was because she trusted God. She said she's going to trust the Israelites' God.
Yeah.
And so God used her in an amazing way. I just think it's such an amazing story because she really put her life on the line. And she also saved her family because of that.
Yeah.
Because of her faith, which she didn't even have someone directly preach her. She just heard about what had happened. And she later on is in the lineage of Jesus.
That's so cool. That's really
It just
cool.
also shows me that Jesus uses everybody. She was a prostitute, and I really believe that's put there on purpose to say it doesn't matter what somebody has done, where they've come from. Everybody can change, and everybody has hope. Jesus wants everyone.
Yeah, it's so true. She becomes a convert to the Israelite faith, the Israelite God, the true God, the one true God. And she made a difference. And she protected those guys' lives.
And so here now they're crossing over the Jordan River. And I have crossed over rivers before. I've actually gone canoeing in rivers, and this one time I literally lost a shoe in the mud. It sucked up my shoe in the mud. We were on an expedition, and for 3 days, so I actually finished it with one shoe because it was so muddy. So when I saw that it was dry ground, that they put the priest put their foot on the river and it was dry, that also is a miracle. The fact that he just dried the land so that they could walk across.
Yeah, it's so cool to see God putting his power on Joshua to lead the people, just as he did with Moses. He was showing that Joshua, the son of Nun, was the leader that he had chosen. And the waters part, just as they did for Moses in the Red Sea. It was so cool to see. And again, he reminds them by sending the ark first. The waters parted for God, not for what they were doing, but for God. It stopped the waters of a river. That would be so amazing to see.
And again, it's God leading the way. The ark goes in there, it's God leading the way. It's him that we follow. It's not our own way, our own methods, our own thoughts, but he has a plan, and it's best to follow his plan.
Yeah. And then I love the idea of taking the 12 stones out of the middle of the river, so that when our children ask, what are these stones for, we can point back and say, because God was with us. God brought the entire nation of Israel across this river. This is to remind us that God is great and awesome.
And you think about how there's always something that God has, a song or stones or different things to remind us. And now we have the Bible that's been protected for thousands of years. So we never forget what Moses did, what Joshua did, what other great godly men did, and finally what
Jesus.
God did for us through Jesus. Yeah. That's been protected. And we have this today so that we can see that the God of Joshua and the God of Moses is the same God who we follow today.
So true. Well said.